Hello, my name is Stephen York. I am the pastor of the United Methodist Church in Stonington, Maine. Today, I'm preaching on the famous John Lennon quote, "Life happens when you're making other plans." The gospel story is the story of Mary receiving the announcement from the angel, Gabriel, that she's going to bear a child, and that child is going to be Jesus. Life often has plans for us that we have no intention or knowledge ahead of time that it's going to be that way. So it was with Mary, and often it is with you and with me. Things happen in life that we don't predict, we don't expect, we don't anticipate. How we handle those things is the message of that announcement story that we read each year at Christmas. I ask that this week you reflect on the idea that the creative act is often spontaneous, it is often serendipitous, it is often something that we don't predict is going to happen. I trust that your life will be creative this Advent season and that you will fulfill great joy in the work that you do. Thank you. When you are making other plans, John Lennon from the Beatles said, I suppose that Mary had her plans all in place when she has this heavenly occurrence, when an angel appears to her and tells her she's going to have a child, and that he is going to be the Son of God, and that he is going to be the Lord, and that he is going to have a new kingdom. I'm sure that was not on her bridal registry plan when she got that message. Now, a lot of people want to get stuck on both sides on this subject of the birth of Jesus about certain particularities and little thoughts. But I want to look at it differently this morning, because there is a river of truth in this story that I think that often we miss in the stories about and by Jesus. And here it is. Mary planning to become the bride, was betrothed, which meant to be engaged to Joseph, in which she was committed. And to get out of it, she would have had to have been divorced, by the way. So this was a little different than the way we do it in our culture. In fact, in the Matthew story, when Joseph was trying to figure out what to do with this whole news, he says he decided not to put her away privately. What that meant was not to divorce her, which was an option. The question of this story in the 21st century is, what does it mean for someone to get unexpected news, make something with it, and take their lives and bless others? I don't know what you have planned in your life. It probably was more than a wedding. It could have been a career. It could have been like Jaber Crow, who as a little boy had no clue that at the age of 3 or 4 he was going to lose his parents, and then went and lived with a very beloved great aunt, great uncle, and they died by the time he was 10, and he ended up in an orphanage. And then, feeling like he was going to be called to preach, because they were working on him down at the orphanage, it was a Christian orphanage, he bit the bullet and bit the hook and said, yes, I guess I am called. And they sent him off to Pigeonville Bible College, and there he had a faith crisis. He didn't know what to do with the Bible, and so he decided to go cutting hair, and he did. He returned home, but his plans of a normal childhood or desires for life with a family just didn't happen that way. How true it is for all of us. There are times when we think we know where we're going in life. We begin with the best of hopes and aspirations. We begin with plans. And all of a sudden, something happens that we have absolutely no idea is going to happen to us, and it can either be a crisis in the Chinese word, two meanings of crisis: an opportunity or a danger. Mary, thank God, looked at this as an opportunity. I have to tell you that the mother of Jesus did not understand what she was being told. And there is no reason why you and I should understand it any better than she did 2,000 years ago. It was an unusual message. It is one that we don't understand, how God was going to come through the person of Jesus in a human birth. That's the story. But what did she do with it? What do we do with our lives? Jaber Crow, the barber, said that he'd like to think life was a straight line, that he could start from here and get to there, and if he had to go through a little bit of mistakes, get out of them and never go back. But life, he pointed out, is a series of learnings and misconceptions and other things happening when we don't count on them. There's an interesting verse from Paul's letter to the Galatians that I want to point out to you this morning about the birth of Jesus. Let me say, first of all, two Gospels don't even talk about the birth of Jesus. Neither Mark nor John give us the birth stories. It's only Matthew and Luke. The epistles say very little. But there is a line in Galatians where Paul said he is praying for the church that Christ be fully born in them. The point of being a Christian, or the point of the new birth, is the Spirit of Christ is born within us, just like it was born within Mary during this Annunciation. The point of being a Christian is not picking 15 things that we think are true and saying, I believe these things, so therefore I'm a Christian. The point of being a Christian is having the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of generosity, the Spirit of love, the Spirit of forgiveness born within our hearts. And every Advent season, we remember the coming of Christ because we ourselves need a renewal, just like the plant has its seasons and needs a renewal. The birth of Jesus, the announcement, was a creative act. I can tell you after years of studying it, I still don't all fully understand it all. But I do know one thing, that there are opportunities that you and I will be presented with. And what we decide to do with the life that happens to us, with what we have been given, when we don't expect it, will make all the difference. What we do with life can either make us bitter or better. We can learn from our mistakes and we can go on, or we can keep wandering around in the muck and the mire until we finally get through it and figure it out. I'd like to suggest to you that Mary made a wonderful choice. She took some news that she didn't understand. The Bible says she pondered it and continued to ponder it in her heart. She went to see her cousin Elizabeth to try to process it, talked to Joseph, and it was still quite a bit of news.